Hey, Jimmy here, and in case you're new to the channel, I am an archaeologist by training, and most of my videos talk about material culture, clothing, and archaeology, and this is part of an ongoing series where we take a look at some of the latest archaeology news that you might have heard about, because you guys seem to be enjoying these videos, so we're going to do another one. Oh boy, has there been some archaeology in the news recently, and if you have been watching the internet, you might have heard the rumours of an enormous mysterious structure being found underneath the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. And Milo, that runs Mini Minuteman, and Dr. Justin Sledge, who runs Esoterica, have both already quickly and rightly mentioned that this is conspiracy theory nonsense, and it is conspiracy theory nonsense. It's not even new conspiracy theory nonsense, really. This comes from an article in 2022, so it's a 3-year-old article where two people chucked an article on ResearchGate saying that they had used a specific kind of ground-penetrating radar to take new readings from the Great Pyramid that proves that there is a gigantic, mysterious chasm underneath, which they conclude may have been used as some kind of power plant, sonic amplification device. With no real evidence to support that conclusion. The people who wrote this article, as far as I can tell, are not archaeologists, have no real background in studying ancient buildings or ancient archaeology. One of the people who wrote the article also seems to be kind of into the ancient aliens thing. You know, read as much into that as you want. So not really an archaeology news thing so much as a conspiracy theory thing, which is a shame because there have actually been some really exciting discoveries in Egypt, some actual scanning, some resistivity and ground-penetrating radar scanning done by 2 Japanese universities and an Egyptian organisation out the front by the cemetery that's in front of the Great Pyramid, has discovered an anomaly which the scientists and the archaeologists and scientists conducting the survey have concluded, might be an entrance or something, which is kind of what you'd expect rather than OMG, it's a gigantic ancient power plant for aliens. So yeah, that's a really cool thing. We may have a brand new type of structure underneath the surface level tombs that we have in the cemetery, because there are lots of surface level structures that contain burials. We may now have found an underground shaft leading into who knows what. At some point it would be lovely to excavate it, if possible. We've also got the very exciting news that we've discovered a Pharaoh Thutmose II's tomb has been found, almost by accident, by a British archaeologist who was trundling around the Valley of the Kings and found a staircase, went down, looked up and saw that the roof was painted blue and had stars on it and went, ooh, I'm in a tomb. And they found out whose tomb it was because the tomb was emptied. Not robbed, it was emptied. And on one of the things that was broken as they were emptying the tomb out, because it floods too frequently to be really used as a tomb, they found Thutmose II's name written on a fragment of something. So thankfully, as they say, they broke something in the move that had writing on it. So we've discovered another pharaoh's tomb. Hooray! This is really exciting stuff because it gives us yet another data point in researching how pharaohs were buried in ancient Egypt. And this is genuine, this is legit 1400s BC, 3,500-year-old brand new stuff. So, you know, the Earth has yet to reveal and yield all of her secrets, and this is just one of those secrets that's been found recently. So that is spectacularly good and exciting news. Now, this anomaly discovery was made in May 2024, and it's kind of gone under the radar. But yeah, it's a fascinating thing. It's a shallow structure, and then a passageway, as far as I'm aware, sort of shallow thing, something leading down, which is really, really cool. And it's a brand new anomalous discovery. They even use the word anomaly to describe it. And if Star Trek has taught me anything, the word anomaly means cool, exciting, dangerous space wizards. So I look forward very much to the 2 Japanese universities involved discovering secret underground Egyptian space wizards. Honestly, if you're going to build a conspiracy theory use the word anomaly. Surely that's in the rules. Surely you have to have anomaly or anomalous results somewhere in your description for it to be a proper conspiracy theory. But yeah, a lot of the imagery that's been bandied around the internet is AI generated and not real. In fact, nearly all of the imagery bandied around the internet about this story is AI generated, faked, not real in some way, which is sad. So Piers Litherland is this chap's name, and he rightly says that this is really exciting. It solves a mystery. It's the location of the 18th dynasty kings of Egypt. It's the location of an ancestor of Tutankhamun, the father of Thutmose III, and the husband and also half-brother of Hatshepsut, who is one of the few women to rule Egypt as a pharaoh in her own right. So overall, a really exciting discovery, and one that kind of unlocks a secret unlockable map in the game of figuring out where the hell all the pharaohs are, or were, or have at some point been buried. So it's really, really cool. Well done, everybody involved. How exciting. So yeah, that is genuine, good archaeology news. Well done, everybody involved. And the kind of big one that people have been sending me, lots of you have been sending me this, which is lovely, is the Melsonby hoard. And the Melsonby hoard was found 4 years ago. It was found in 2021 by a man using a metal detector responsibly in North Yorkshire. And this is, again, why I keep banging on about nuance, because I've done videos where I talk about metal detecting and people think that my blanket opinion is metal detector bad, but I don't think metal detector bad. I think improper and, what's the word? That thing that you have. Anyway, unscrupulous use of metal detector bad. I think that good, responsible metal detector, good. And our metal detectorist was in North Yorkshire in a field, got a bleep or a buzz or whatever noise they make. I've never actually used a metal detector in anger, and found some metalwork. Realised that this was a pretty big find, and so got in touch with the relevant authorities. And the relevant authorities he got in touch with were the Portable Antiquities Scheme. The Portable Antiquities Scheme sent an archaeologist out. The archaeologist got in touch with the British Museum, and they got in touch with various other local authorities, and also the University of Durham. The University of Durham then started excavating, carried on excavating, and found an amazing amount of metalwork from the Iron Age. So 2,000-year-old ironwork, just pre-Roman probably ironwork, in what I believe is the largest find of its kind in the north of England. And if you go on the university website, which I'll link in the description, you can read all about the finds that they've got. And they've got mountains of copper alloy, they've got decorative finials, they've got metal tyres, so a chariot burial, which is really exciting, except it's a chariot burial without a human body. There are no human remains here. There's evidence of burning, which suggests this may have been a funeral pyre. And the point that they kind of make on the website, if you go on the website, is that this is very exciting because it shows that there were people in the north of what is now England who had the wealth and power to just burn a chariot, which is a huge amount of metal, right? It's a really valuable thing. It is like burying a car, right? It's like burying an expensive car. If you die and you have your Rolls Royce buried with you, that is what we're talking about here. Okay, so this is a very exciting thing because there's this kind of 18th, 19th century idea of the north of England being poverty-stricken compared to the south, which it is. It is significantly economically worse off than the south of England, especially the southeast of England. And that extends to the rest of the island as well. But in the period, this modern concept has been kind of imprinted onto the period. So people have kind of said, well, you know, the north has always been a bit poorer, hasn't it? And this suggests, no, it wasn't. Because some of these materials suggest that they may have been imported. So we may have international connections. We may have a very wealthy, who knows, chieftain, war chief, chiefess, who knows who this was, priest of some sort, who had a chariot that was buried, burned on a pyre with them when they died, and just given up as a sacrifice or as a funerary offering, which is really, really exciting. This is a really big example of conspicuous consumption, right? This is a huge thing to say, yeah, just bury the chariot with him. I'll just have another one commissioned. Because all of this stuff, all of these amazing things were made by hand, so you have to have it all made again. None of this is 3D printed, right? It's incredible stuff. So it's a huge, huge find. It's really, really important for the local area. It's really important for our study of Iron Age Britain, because it shows that there was a powerful figure of some sort in charge around here. And I say around here, I'm in York, and it was further north than I am right now, but in this part of the island, there was a powerful figure. And it's also important because it then makes us all go, oh yeah, of course, England wasn't a country at that point. There was no England, Scotland, Wales. Who knows which tribal leader this was of one of the many tribes of Great Britain. So there you go. Very, very interesting stuff. It's 4 years after the fact that it's coming into the public eye, because as I've described in some of these other archaeology news videos, archaeology is a slow process. Some of the metalwork was very flimsy, very friable, quite degraded, quite corroded, and came out of the ground in a big lump. Sometimes if artefacts or fragments of artefacts are looking quite flimsy, quite perishable, you have to dig around them and lift them out. As though it were the root ball of a plant, you have to kind of lift the whole thing out, and then you pop it on a table in a lab, you give somebody a toothbrush and a scalpel, and they scrape away at the earth, and they scrape away at the dirt until you can get into the artifact, and then you can separate it out, and then you can clean it, and then you can scan it, and that can be very painstaking. It takes a lot of time to clean things after a dig. Let me tell you from experience that it can be a very, very long-winded and quite frustrating process. A lot of backache. A lot of archaeologists get bad shoulders and wrists for a reason, and it's not just because of the trowel. So it's taken 4 years for them to get to the stage where we have incredible scans like this of decorative fish that have been beaten into copper alloy for this amazing thing. And the fish is wonderful, and I love the fish. It's my favourite part of this whole thing. I think I might try and put it on the thumbnail somehow. But yeah, it got sent off to the University of Southampton. It's had CT scans. It's had loads of testing done on it that has taken a long time. And the other important reason it takes time to publicise things is archaeologists don't like their sites being mobbed by people, whether they are well-wishers, whether they are the media, whether they are other metal detectorists who have nefarious ideas, whether they are tourists. It slows the work down, and it makes it more difficult and more expensive to get the damn thing out of the ground so that we can do some testing on it. So it's easier all round if you wait for a bit, do the testing, and then say, right, here's what we've got, this is all the information we've got on it, here's a gallery of pictures, here's all of the scientific and testing data, go for it. And that actually is kind of the best way of doing it. If you dig something out of the ground and say, hey, we found a thing, the rumour mill starts, the conspiracy mill starts, people keep asking you, people email you, people get all up in your DMs and your inbox, and you are probably an overworked, underpaid university lecturer or archaeological expert trying to just get your work done. And if you're a commercial archaeologist, you simply don't have time to answer even the best motivated of emails saying, hey, that thing you dug out of the ground last week, any idea what it is yet? Can you give me a ring? You just don't have the time. So that is why these things take time. There are other reasons as well. If anybody has experience of the process of something getting dug out of the ground, taking years to then publicise it, please do get in the comments and give your experiences. I'm sure they'd be very welcome and make for fascinating reading if you are allowed to, if you're not under embargo, of course. So that's kind of a little roundup of the sort of the three things that I found recently that I thought were very, very exciting archaeologically. The Melsonby hoard in particular is really cool. I love a chariot because I'm Welsh and I was brought up with tales of charioteers riding against the Roman legionaries who occupied the island. So it's very cool that we've got another thing, and I hope to see it in an exhibition one day. I hope that we get a lovely exhibit of this chariot, maybe close to where it was excavated. Wouldn't that be wonderful? It was put in the Yorkshire Museum or something.
Hi, Editing Jimmy here. I'm just editing this video and realising that when I filmed this, I wasn't aware that the Melsonby hoard is currently in the Yorkshire Museum, which is in the city of York, and is over there, and I've since been and seen it, and it's amazing. And they have a campaign called Save the Melsonby Hoard, and they're trying to raise £500,000 by July of this year, July 2025, to keep the Melsonby Hall in the museum. Now, this is something that museums have to do an awful lot. The Yorkshire Museum is by no means a large, national, governmentally funded to the point of largesse institution. It is an underfunded county museum in the north of England, and they need to raise £500,000 in the next few months, or the hoard will be privately auctioned off and effectively lost to us as an assemblage that is available to go and view in a museum. And it's not a free museum, it's not part of the National Museums Act 2001, so they rely on being a paid-to-visit museum and having special exhibits like this, and they are desperate to keep hold of this. It's a really, really, like I've just said in the video, it's a really important find in the local area that teaches us an awful lot, and it would be exceptionally cool to have it in its local area permanently and available as a display, as an exhibit in the museum. So I'm going to link to their campaign in the description. If any of you feel that you could contribute, if anyone feels that you can contribute to the fund, to the campaign, by all means do so.
And yes, the tomb of Thutmose II, which is wonderful, and I'm not an Egyptologist or an Egyptian archaeologist, so if anybody has any other reasons why finding the tomb of Thutmose II is exciting, then by all means chuck it in the comments, that'd be lovely. And yeah, the big fake news thing of the moment as well. So, I hope you enjoyed this very brief rundown of the archaeology news du jour. I'll do another one soon because I'm quite enjoying these videos. It's nice to be keeping up with the archaeology news so that I can kind of just briefly give it to you guys in a little bulletin. But yeah, if you are enjoying the channel, feel free to support the channel financially if you so desire. You can go to the Patreon page, there's a coffee page. If you just want to sling me the cost of a panad or a pint, that would be very welcome as well. And of course, like, subscribe and share the videos, because we're very close to 100,000 subscribers now, which is absolutely wild. I have also got the podcast now, Steeped in History, and you've already listened to it a couple of thousand times. And that's fantastic, so diolch yn fawr iawn am hynny, thank you very much for that. Another episode will be coming out every fortnight, and I have some wonderful guests lined up, as well as some solo episodes. So I hope that you will join me in learning about a year in history every time, a completely sight unseen year that my guests will bring to the table. And we'll talk about tea and books as well. Who doesn't love tea, books and history, right? Why else would you subscribe to this channel? So, diolch yn fawr iawn am wylio, unwaith eto. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and tan y tro nesa, till the next time, hwyl fawr am y tro. Bye bye for now.